post. I will hold it. This picture. Yeah, I do. Facebook, in the story, Insta, posted, what is this, get that open, Insta. Insta's done, Facebook's done, it's all done. Let's rock. And press record. I'm just going to keep telling you until it's done. Beautiful.
Live it, breathe it, love it. All sports.
Count me in and I'll go bang. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. We hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I am Dom with the great man Sauce, and we're back at it once again. What is happening?
Oh, audio mishap. More audio mishap right there. What is going on? Domma, we're back.
We're
Show
back.
24. Massive news.
We're gonna leave with it. We're gonna leave with it. We're gonna actually.
We got another milli. We got another milli up there.
Another milli. The second of many more to come.
Audio mishap.
I can tell you that much. But another milli. That's in Hobby Talk. That's what we'll leave with.
Domma,
We've got F1 again. We've got some UFC.
Massive
We've got
news.
us at EPL. We've got NFL. We're going to touch on NBA. We'll explain why. We're just going to touch on it, not get in depth into it. And then, mate, we'll go to Sauceys Smokey, the most anticipated segment of the show. But it's just going to be same old story. We're just broken records on this show, mate.
It's going to be a rant, Domma. Rather than being a Smokey, it's going to be an absolute rant.
Saucy's
rant. Saucy's rant, let's just call it this week, because it's I sound like a broken record. But honestly, I'm sick and tired of it, Domma. What's people's heads? What are they? I've been talking about this for a whole year, pretty much. Well, not on the podcast. We've only done 24 weeks of the podcast, so not quite a year on the podcast. But if you were listening to me previously, Domma, as a mate, what I was saying to you 12 months ago when I pretty much first got into the hobby, I was saying, well, why are people paying so much for this, and why are these guys so cheap and these players? And I'll just bring it back, and it's going to be a rant, and I'll just bring up some,
I love it.
some card prices on Card Ladder, and we can have a browse.
I love triggering you, so it's always good. And I will trigger you when we get to EPL again because that's always fun. We got a lot to talk about there with your boy. But
We have
we'll
got
get
one of the biggest lemons of the week coming.
But we'll start with hobby talk. We will start with the Millie card because we will speak about the sport card first, and then we will get to something else. We'll transition. But I love triggering you. Massive. Giannis, 13-14. Prism's Black Mosaic RC, 1 of 1. Sold for $1.168 million. It was graded 9.5. It was a BGS graded card, and it was sold by one of our favorites, Giannis, Rizzo Sports. What a man. He's done well. He also sold Luca as well, I'm pretty sure. So he's nailed it. He sold the card for 1.1.
Shout out Rizzo.
Shout out to Rizzo. It was on Fox News over there in the
What
States.
dreams are made of
it was
in the card game. Let me tell you right now. Getting that Millie card, and funny enough, there was an auto, a Prism auto, sold on the same day, which didn't even surface past the $750,000 mark, which was amazing. So the 1 of 1 parallel card, I believe it was in the same grade of BGS 9.5. The auto didn't even get close. I think it was a 1 of 3 auto.
Oh, 1 of 3. Okay.
I think.
But the 1 of 1s, as you know, they always go for a lot, and it's another Millie card to add to the to the list,
ever-growing list.
Ever-growing list, and this is only the beginning. Just think about it. These are 1 of 1s of Giannis, and both Giannis's have gone for over $1 million.
What's your big call? What were you saying to me the other day? We were looking at that card that Grayson from Cherry was talking about.
Funnily enough, you actually brought that up because I was actually going to segue into that. Our boys at Cherry, Grayson, who is owner of Cherry, went live and he was talking about the Luca Dragon card that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when Lil P pulled this card.
Yep.
And funnily enough, he's just talking about the fact that he has 2 of them. And when he thought the card was worth X amount, the hobby was telling him, no, it's only worth this much. So Grayson thought, okay, if I think the card's worth $5,000, you think it's worth like 1,500. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I'm going to buy it. Then it got to, he thought the card was worth 10 grand. The card was worth $5,000. He's like, well, I'm going to buy it. He's listed one. He's publicly noted. He put it in his live. We'll tag them. You can go and have a watch of it. He put up for 100K because he believed it was 100K. It's worth that. Raw. This is raw, not graded. And the hobby said, no, 50K. That's what it's worth. Because Grayson said he didn't get a hit, nothing on that card. And then he went on to say it could potentially be the next card that could be worth $1 million. And you know what? He's not wrong. It potentially could be worth that. Like the upside on Luca compared to Giannis. Just remember what Giannis was in his first few seasons. Like he struggled. Like he's come really good in the last 4 years. He's just dominated. He's got progressively better. Luca's come into the league from day dot. He dominated in his rookie year. He dominated last year.
MVP talks. Look, I get it. The hype train on Luca is just amazing. Like it's a thing to behold, and I've called it. You know, I've always questioned this, and I just don't understand like the prices people are paying for Luca, and then you can go out there and get like Kobe and stuff, and that's solidified and Shaq, and I just don't get it, right? Like, why would you be buying these guys that have solidified their place in basketball history, as I like to always say? But now I've just gone. You know what?
You've accepted it.
I've accepted it.
Yeah.
This is just another thing in the hobby that's just unexplainable for me personally, and probably for a hell of a lot of other people.
As Grayson calls him, the baby goat.
Yeah, and
it's true.
It's just, you know,
in the hobby,
you see a price of a card and you look at it and you go, oh, it's Luca. You know, and that's what you literally say now. You go, oh, it's Luca. And that's all. That's how I justify the price of that card. You know,
yeah.
But
that card will go up though.
Oh, it will go up, and And it was funny because you put a comment on his live and you said,
I said Lil P pulled it a week and a half ago, and Grayson,
yeah,
funnily enough, he came out and said that he contacted Lil P and
he wanted to buy it again
tried to
at
buy it
50K.
again. Which is fair enough.
One sold for 50K. Oh, not.
Which is fair enough.
I think one sold for 30K, possibly last one.
But honestly, not just because they're friends of ours at Cherry and we know Grayson and stuff, but honestly, a week and a half ago, and Grayson's like,
yeah.
Funnily enough, he came out and said that he contacted
for
the fact of like, it's not like, oh, it's a Luca
at
card.
50K.
It's one of the
nicest one sold for 50K. Oh, not
on the market.
I think one sold for
like one of the best looking cards. You go have a look at that Giannis that sold on Golden auctions. That the card that we just mentioned at the top of the show that Rizzo sold. Go have a look how nice it looks. It's obviously the best variant you can get in the Prism, but just have a look how nice the card looks, and then go have a look at that.
It's a 1-of-1, and it's got
100%. But I know that Luca's not a 1-of-1, but still, go have a look at that Luca card and tell me. Besides probably the Nebula, pretty sure you can get that in a Prism Nebula. Like, what card looks better than that?
There's a Prism 1-of-1 of Luca.
Yeah, there would. I think that's the Nebula. Is it Nebula? I'm pretty sure it's Nebula. Don't quote me on that, but that's on. It's such a nice look. It's nice looking cards that go for something. And look at the other Giannis that went for $1 million before this one. It was a Logo Man 1-of-1. It looks so nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's the first of many, and we'll lead into the GOAT. This card is actually the GOAT, the card that we're leading into, because this is going to be the next Millie card. On top of, actually, we'll get into one of the GOATs quickly before we transition into it. Bloody, I know Peachy Wayne Gretzky also sold for $1 million this week.
Yep.
So, mate, it's not just in the NBA, it's in the NHL as well. But we're going to move away from the sport. The ultimate GOAT, the GOAT that can never get injured, the greatest of all time, the best looking card, the card that in the same year has about 12 different variants. Charizard, first edition base set in an SGC slab, mind you.
10.
Pristine. But SGC, because as you know, everyone says if it ain't PSA, don't bring it our way. So just the card that in the same year has about 12 different variants. If it was in a PSA slab, sold for $357,000 USD. In SGC, I know it was a 10, but imagine if that card was in a PSA slab. So we've been saying this for a long, long time now. We've been talking to people on bloody Instagram and TikTok and this place and that place. And before everyone said, oh, this is bizarre, that this card will never do its knee. Before that thing, which makes sense because it's not even it's fictional. It's a fictional character. But
hey, don't tell me Pokemon's fictional.
Yeah. But legitimately, we've been saying it like this will be the first Pokemon card that gets to $1 million. And if you convert that to Australian dollars, it's over $500,000 Australian. So it's getting there very quickly. And not for anything, in a month, it's gone up almost 50K from its last sold price. And like we keep saying, once it gets to next year and it's the 25th anniversary, we literally are telling you this will be the time that it'll go for $1 million. If it's any time, it'll be literally next year. It's just set up perfectly, 25 years. Some guy just loses his marbles and just pays bloody $750,000 USD for this card. And that means it is $1 million card because I'm converting it to Australian. But legitimately, it is approaching, obviously, that benchmark. It's getting there. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. So, congrats, Charizard. You've done well, mate. If we could get you on the show, we would, but that's not possible. So, but moving into some other things, Source made me aware during the week that eBay are starting to become aware of some of the problems that they're having on their platform, and they're trying to rectify this in a few policy changes coming out next year. So, Saucy, take it away. Inform the listeners on two of the things that they're thinking of doing.
So, At the moment, obviously everyone knows the issues with the returns policy, so they're changing that returns policy from what I believe. You can set it to 0 days, 3 days, 7 days, and 14 days. At the moment, it's only just straight 14 days is the lowest you can set it at, and then they're also bringing in like a cheaper shipping method for people. I don't know. I think this is more for people in the US rather than in Australia. I don't know if they have a deal with people in Australia with the postal service here, but I know it's in the US where it's like cards under $20. You can get ship tracking for as low as $1 or even cheaper than that, as long as your cards fit certain dimensions and your letters. So yeah, those things are going to help. eBay sort of understanding the issues with their returns sort of policy. Um, Funny enough, you know, leading on from that, I think that's where platforms such as StarStock can really shine, because it's like an instant transaction. Your cards are there in a vault. You buy, you sell, and it's literally just a digital card moving. Like it's a physical card, which they've got on record, and
Yeah.
each card's serial numbered, so for them to find if you ever want to get that card sent back to you, yes. But like it's like a digital card in the sense that it literally you buy it,
Yeah.
it's in your account within two
Just swap it
seconds, and
over.
you can sell it like 5 seconds later after that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can, if that happens, you could get it, within the same minute, list it again, and then it could sell 2 minutes after, or 5 minutes, and
100%.
it just transfers to their account. So that would be where I see a place for that to happen. And um, on the Lucas Tigers Bronze podcast, oh my, with the lads out there, they spoke about how if you want to bring this whole sports betting sort of aspect into it. When you put your money down with a bookie, you can't ask for a refund. You know what I mean? Once you placed your bet, so you shouldn't be able to do that. If you want to bring that transition that into cards, you shouldn't be able to do that. So, but this is where I feel like if you're playing it in that manner, I would only be using the platform based for that sort of thing. So this is where I see a real opportunity and the investments coming in. With we spoke about pre last week, Starstock, and that's where they can shine. They can
100%.
build their company and capture a bit of this market where players and prices fluctuate based off performance and things like that, which is what they're trying to create. Which is interesting. Look, we still don't know whether it's going to be successful, but this is where I feel like sometimes, like
The concept's great, though.
yeah, the concept is great. The concept is great, and I want to see more aspects succeed because seeing more different aspects succeed mean the opportunity for people to be able to make money off cards that potentially they may have not been able to. Like sending
Yeah.
in all your your rookie guys who aren't getting much playing time, but they're on a list. They get their opportunity. They come in. They score 15, 20 points. Someone goes, "Who's this guy?" And then you've got these cards sitting on
Yeah.
start stock, and bang, 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 you could sell them where you couldn't even sell them for anything before. But it's getting a point into the hobby where there's that many buyers and things, and I've pointed out, guys paying the prices that they are for KZ Okpala. Like the reason I bought KZ Okpala, yeah, I seen there was like potential, but like I could get some really nice cards for so cheap because no one wanted him. But then now
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like everyone seems to be looking for the next Giannis, the guy that's literally sitting in the G League waiting to get his opportunity, and then just comes in. Look, not that I think that KZ Opala is that guy, but at the price I was getting his cards, personally, it was like I was like, oh, I think it can only go up from here as long as he
100%.
doesn't, as long as he isn't out of the league, in the next year or two. As soon as he just gets some game time and even plays an off the bench role, like the price I got his cards, they will go up. So that was my thought behind that, and I was like, if I'm left with a few nice cards and he ends up being something half decent, then maybe some of those RPAs that I was able to get or will be worth something. So yeah, it's really interesting time in the hobby. It's gangbusters. We've had multiple milli cards that you've spoken about, Domma, and it's exciting stuff, man. It's
And
exciting
this
stuff.
leads in perfectly to let's. I want you to just unload on this. I know you probably might rant on this as well, but let's give the listeners a bit of a Bol Effect 2.0 that's been happening with your boy, the
Look,
GOAT that plays
you
in
know,
Los Angeles, Talon Horton Tucker.
Domma. Look, first and foremost, I'm not sitting here and putting Taylor Horton Tucker down
No, 100%.
or his abilities, right?
He's actually
But
a good player. He's shown a lot.
just comprehend what you're doing, ladies and gents. People, let's just I'll just have a look here.
A lot of it, though, is because they're trying to capitalize now and they're just trying to flip the cards. And I get that. That's what they're doing to make a buck because he's not going to get as many minutes as what he did in that game where he shot 33.
Right,
Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't think LeBron and AD even played that in that game. It was him and Kuzma. Well, Kuzma actually played really good. He balled out in that game as well. He had 25. Only if Kuzma could do that every freaking night.
Right, so he doesn't have a prison base card, so he's probably next base card will probably be Optic, or he's got a select rookie card as well. It's
Best product in the game.
Yeah, right. So previous sold on a base card is $8 now. Domma, if I go have a look just at Kobe Bryant's NBA hoops card, for instance, you can go pick that up for $20, right? Now you're telling me there's people out there paying what nearly $10 for a Taylor Horton Tucker base card. Add another $10 and you got yourself a Kobe rookie. Like when you think about it like that, ladies and gents, like what are you thinking about? Like you're buying a guy who's barely played any minutes. Like he's gonna once the season comes around, Caruso's in front of him, Schroeder's in front of him. Like he might get a few minutes, like he might work his way and maybe average 6 to 8 minutes a game. But is that really enough time to then for him to build and show what he really can do and become the player that these prices are sort of getting out of hand and pointing at? The way his prices jumped and guys paying how much they did for like, for instance, right, Domma, like you can literally, someone explained it. People paying $10 for a optic base card, Taylor Horton Tucker, and then you can literally go buy Anthony Hardaway rookie or like a T-Mac rookie, who pretty good players. Never won a chip, but
T-Mac did on the bench for San Antonio.
Right. That doesn't count, man. It counts. It counts. But
our boy Gazy won a chip playing for San Antonio. Hey, it counts.
That's how Jared Dudley won his too.
Yeah. Well,
out there.
Jared Dudley's the GOAT, but so it's all good.
Plenty out there. Udonis Haslam, he's one. He's one
He's good, mate. Don't bag UD.
UD's one of the smartest brains in the game. He's on there for his coaching more than anything. Yeah, so like when you look at it like that, you're like, well, I just don't understand it, Domma. Like, haven't people you've seen this before? We've seen it where everyone's just like, overreacts to it. We've seen it with Javonte Graham. We've seen it with Bol. We've seen it with Gary Trent Jr.
I think it's like
MJ Warren. We've seen it with. Like, how many guys do we need to see it with for people to realize like it's the same repetitive pattern? Like, why guys have now? There's guys out there on Instagram and whatever, like people who sell. They've got their cards organized in folders, everything. So as soon as like this shit happens, they go take photos, bang on eBay, and you're paying overs. Like, honestly, wait another 3 weeks, you'll be able to pick up these Taylor Horton Tucker base cards back for $1, $2 again. Like, you know what I mean? No, don't pay $10 if you really want it.
Yeah, it's exactly like I was saying to you. It's just more like flipping now to get the money on the card. It's literally to offload the card to someone else, so then they don't have to deal with it because they've had that card in their collection most of the time, unless you PC him. But it's like they've collected this guy through like breaks or whatever, and they've got him sitting there, and they're like, well, I'll just hold on to it just in case. And then when it gets to this point, they're like, well, I'm going to offload it because I don't want this card. People buy it for 10 times the amount. Like you're saying, it could be $1 card. They buy it for 10, 15 times the amount. If it's $15, $20, 20 times the amount. They flog them off. They've got all these different variants. Some of them are selling for astronomical prices, and people considering potentially have even bought them. And they're like, well, it's gone now. And like you're saying, in 3 weeks' time or 2 weeks' time, they start playing. He's only getting potentially 6 minutes a game. I actually hope he's really good as another option off the bench for the Lakers. It'd be fantastic. But he's not going to be dropping 33 a game. Simple as that. So you're telling me his price is going to be justified if he comes off the bench and he has 10 points or 8 points or 6 points? It's not going to be 10 times. What we're saying is the price isn't going to be what it is now in 2 weeks. It's going to drop down again. It's like Bol. He dropped down. And Bol was in a scrimmage game. Like, come on. We've got to get realistic. But a lot of it's just flipping it.
Well, this is a scrimmage because it's...
Well, I know, preseason. I know. But when we get to NBA, I just need to just say one thing about this draft class. I'm not going to say it now. I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to say I told you so because it's not nothing yet. It's just preseason games. But everyone that bagged this draft class, just settle down. But that's been pretty much it. We've been fortunate enough, Saucy and I, and we are forever grateful to have interviewed so many people in the last month or so. It's been out of control.
It's been hectic. It's been really good. Really
good. Crazy. It's been crazy. Obviously, kicked off with Cherry right at the beginning, which we will be teaming up with them probably in the new year to bring some more content about the hobby. And then from there, in the last month and a half, like we've had Hoj, Mast Sports Cards, Sean Mike Kelly. We've got Talking Cardboard coming up for a season preview for the NBA. That's why we're not going to really go into depth in the NBA today because we'll probably get a podcast dropping there. And fingers crossed, we've got a big one lined up for Friday morning, Friday morning, which probably be a nice Christmas special to our listeners and followers. It's a bit of a thank you and a big thank you to the person if it goes ahead. Really appreciate it. But there's a big one in the works, which will be great for everyone. So, yeah, thanks again from us. But that's been Hobby Talk, and we'll move on to some news around the world next with Formula One. I'm going to fly through this. It was the most boring one. Last race of the season. Tip of the cap to the FIA for getting this season underway and to all the drivers and all the staff and all the personnel that were involved. You've done a fantastic job. But Abu Dhabi was the final race of this season, and it was boring as batshit. It's absolutely boring as batshit, mate. I could have fallen asleep. It was that bad. But nonetheless, the GOAT did not win, which is good. Verstappen got pole position. He led from start to finish in this race. There was not many overtakes. Verstappen just drove really well. That's pretty much it. Checo Perez was down in last, and he was coming back, flying through the pack. He was trying to go from last to first like he did last week. But engine failure stopped his race. And obviously, as we know, he hasn't got a seat yet for 2021. So hopefully it's not the last that we've seen of him, considering the fact that the guy hasn't got a seat and he finished fourth in the World Championship with a couple DNFs. And as we've mentioned a fair bit, he missed a couple of races with COVID as well, and he still finished fourth.
How does he not have a contract, Domma?
I'd be signing him. Honestly. Well, let's just put it this way. Red Bull have not confirmed the second seat yet with Alex Albon.
Okay.
I think Perez will probably take that seat. He's a much better driver than Alex Albon. And not for anything, like Alex Albon in technically the second best car, really, finished, where was he here? 7th in the World Championship. Only 7 points ahead of Charles Leclerc. He was in a Ferrari. Danny Rick beat him in a Renault. Carlos Sainz beat him in a McLaren. Perez beat him in a Racing Point. So, in my opinion, they're better drivers than him because Not for anything. His car should be literally the Mercedes and the Red Bulls dominating, which we had both Mercedes clearly. But the race standings were Verstappen first, Bottas second, Hamilton third, Albon finished fourth in this race, my boy Lando in fifth, Sainz in sixth, Danny Rick, another top 10 finish, seventh in his last race for Renault, Pierre Gasly eighth, Esteban Ocon in ninth, and Lance Stroll in 10th. World Championship, Hamilton, obviously, as we know, he's wrapped it up. Verstappen needed Bottas to finish fourth to take second in the World Championship, but he loses out to Bottas by 9 points to finish third, 223 to 214. Perez in fourth on 125, who beat Danny Rick in that fourth spot on 119. Sainz and Albon were equal sixth on 105 points. Leclerc on 98. Lando Norris finished on 97 and Pierre Gasly in the World Championship, but he loses out to Bottas by 9 points. And then constructors, as we said, we only cared about who was finishing third. And with McLaren finishing fifth and sixth, they took the chocolates, 7 points in front of Racing Point. Potentially, if Sergio Perez have engine failure, they probably get third in the constructors, but they lose out. McLaren get that extra $10 million going into 2021, which is fantastic for them.
Bad.
Racing Point finished fourth. Renault in fifth. Ferrari in sixth. AlphaTauri was seventh. Alfa Romeo eighth on 8 points. Haas with 3 points, and unfortunately Williams with the donut did not score 1 point. But George Russell did drive really, really well in that car, which is actually the most useless thing on the grid next to the Haas. So that's pretty much it. It's been an awesome season. I can't wait for next year. As we know, we've probably got the result already. Lewis Hamilton will win his 8th World Championship, but we just want it back eventually. That's it for the podcast now for a couple months. If there's any news, we'll update you, especially if Checo Perez gets that seat. But yeah, it's been awesome, and tip of the cap to everyone at the FIA and everyone involved in Formula One during such a terrible year. So well done to them all. That's pretty much it, Saucy.
Done well to get the season done.
They did really, really well. But coming up next, we've got some EPL and the Champions League draw, and I can't wait for Saucy. All right, we're back. EPL, Saucy. We'll get to your game last because it was the last game of the round, which is good, so I can get through every game and then let you just lose your shit for a bit. But let's go. Bang. Tottenham versus Palace, 1-1. Honestly, the Crystal Palace keeper in this game, who they signed he's on like a $3 million contract. He came from nowhere. Was literally a ninja in goals. He was saving everything. Tottenham probably could have kicked 5 or 6 in this game and buried Palace, but he saved absolutely everything. He saved an amazing free kick. He just literally a free goal pretty much for Harry Kane. He just dove out of nowhere. He just saved everything. He saved them there, got a 1-1 result.
Massive result.
Which made it nervous for Tottenham supporters, but Liverpool played Fulham and drew 1-1. Where I'm just putting it out there, Fulham deserved to win this game. They played Liverpool off the park in the first half.
Liverpool looked in all sorts. Let me just say, Domma, Liverpool looked in all. They did not. They were having a dirty game. Nowhere near their best. Far, far, far from their best. As we're seeing what their best can produce, and they were, as you said, lucky to get a draw.
They got the pen. The pen got them the draw. And it's a sad week. Sad week. Because my boy, Diogo, is out for 6 to 8 weeks, mate, with a knee injury. Very, very, very shattered.
See, Domma, you label him your boy, he gets injured.
What are you talking about? He's the only one, mate. Bruno Fernandes is still out on the park, and Zayic, he's a beast. Paddy Bamford, they're still out there. Come on, Jogo, just get better. Get well soon, son. Get back on the park in Domma's Futsal 5. You're a big, big part. I might have to replace him with someone. So I've got to find someone there.
You've got to choose a new player out of the Premier League.
I've got to find him. I might pick David Luiz when we get to that. Or Lacazette, if he can score for me. But next up, we had United versus City. Garbage game. Boring as batshit as well. 0-0. But let's put it this way. The only thing to come out of this is Man City has not copped a goal in almost 10 hours of football, which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
The Manchester Derby used to be, touted for one of the most exciting games.
I know where you're going with this.
One of the most exciting games. We've seen some great Manchester Derbys over the years. What the fuck did we get here? 0-0.
Are you going to touch on the part that I think you're going to touch on, where Roy Keane was talking about players hugging and cuddling each other and after the game, and he wasn't too happy about that? I'll tell you what. I'll be straight down the line, Roy.
Those days are done, Domma.
No. We live in a day and age where everyone's friends, and I completely fucking despise it. You should be out there trying to do Richarlison stuff to bloody Diego Alcantara a la week 2. You should be trying to destroy each other. This is a derby, mate. Why are you friends? I want basketball like the Jordan era.
It was soft as butter, Dom. The game was soft as butter.
I want like the old day, like in the basketball as well, where Bill Laimbeer was giving clotheslines from Hal to bloody Michael Jordan when he's going for layups. I want that. Where's Roy Keane? I want Roy Keane trying to start punch-ons in the tunnel before they even walk on the pitch. That's what he used to do. Come on, it's all about getting in people's heads. That's the whole thing about when you're opposition. If you get in their head, it's an advantage. When you're all buddies, come on. Like everyone's
the game. It's every game's going soft, mate. The only time you see that sort of stuff, that's why we watch the UFC, Domma, because they really, really get each other's head.
The whole thing's like, yeah, but it's a war when they're on the field, but after it, they're all buddies. No, you can be buddies when you go out to the pub and you're not on television. You can shake hands and hug each other and kiss each other there. I don't care. But on the pitch, mate, like I'm sitting there going, as a United supporter, you're putting this absolutely horrendous performance, and at the end of the game, we're all buddies with Man City players. Thinking to myself, oh yeah, that's nice. Let's all shake hands now and sunshines and rainbows, and this is fantastic. We drew 0-0. No. We want results, mate. Hug each other and kiss each other there. I don't care. It's a derby game. And I'm with you, Sauce. It's definitely, the juice has definitely been taken out of these derby games these days because it's not as, I don't know. You don't want controversial. I'm not talking, I was just joking about the Richarlison attempt, but you don't want people out there trying to kill each other and end people's careers, but a bit of aggression. Go in hard for the ball. Hard but fair. Get in people's heads. That's the game. Like, that's sport. As much as people say that's not the way it is anymore, well, you know what? Think about the best players to ever lace them up in soccer. You reckon they don't get in people's heads? Even think about basketball. The best to lace them up, the GOATs. You reckon Magic never got in someone's head? Jordan, Kobe. You reckon LeBron doesn't talk on the court? Come on. If literally you're going to bow down to your opposition, mate, they're just going to walk all over you. And it was terrible. Anyway, it was a terrible game.
Let's move on.
Chelsea v Everton. Poor judgment by Mendy. Gave away the penalty. He literally...
He's had his... what did I call it? He's had his first Kepa moment. He's had his first Kepa moment.
He went to just try and hip and shoulder Dominic Calvert-Lewin and knock him out. But
he thought he was playing AFL, not soccer.
Bloody hell. Gave away the pen there, which in the end cost them. Everton got the 1-0 win, which is massive for Everton. They've won 2 on the trot now, which is awesome. Next up are a couple of...
Domma, 1-2 on the trot, and, the man, Richarlison, back, and they 1-2 on the trot.
Oh, he's killing it. Richarlison, well, you know what?
When he was out, they were struggling.
He cut his hair. He got rid of his shit haircut with his bleach blonde tips, mate. Don't worry, he got rid of that, and he's playing better.
Southampton, keep rolling, Dom.
We'll keep rolling. We had Southampton, Sheffield, 3-0. Yeah, terrible game. Leicester versus Brighton, 3-0 to Leicester. Good win there. Leeds versus West Ham, 2-1 to to West Ham. Dying minute goal against Leeds. Very, very unlucky. Wolves versus Villa. Villa won that 1-0. Newcastle, after a few COVID scares in their camp and a couple delays, played West Brom, got the 2-1 victory. And we're going to end it with the game of the round. Arsenal versus Burnley. 1-0 win for Burnley. And then it was an own goal by Aubameyang. It's just unlucky. The own goal was very unlucky. Arsenal probably should have kicked, well, not probably, should have kicked probably a shitload of goals in this game, but they didn't. But I'm just going to handball it over to the great man to just lose his shit again, which is great. I like it. And his boy got sent off, which is even better. So...
I'm just getting nice and close to the microphone here, so everyone can hear me nice and loud and clear. Domma. I don't even know where to start with this club anymore. We have regressed severely this season. We looked like we were on the up last season, coming into this season, get a few signings, piece it together. What has happened? Our attacking play last season was amazing. We were scoring goals for fun. We couldn't defend for shit. But we would score. And our attacking play looked good. It was not what I was worried about coming into the season. It was our defence. Get our defence right, and we can't attack anymore. Aubameyang, he doesn't know what a goal looks like. He doesn't even know where the two posts are on the field anymore. Lacazette, he's got no idea where the posts are. Name any player on that pitch, they all have no idea where the posts are. The ones where you're supposed to kick it in. They know where the ones where you defend from, because that seems all we do. We defend a lot. And our attacking play is terrible. But I keep saying, and I've said this how many times, Dom? I don't even know how many times you've heard me say this. If we keep playing this player, this guy, we will not get anywhere as a footballer.
Well, he's not playing this week, so...
Right? The bloke, first of all, he's not as talented as people think he is. There are guys in his position which, are way better than him. He needs to be shown the door out the club. We've got to cut our losses. Get this guy out the club. He does not deserve to be at Arsenal. He's terrible. He's a terrible player. He couldn't control his anger issues at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Go have a look at his red card record there. He can't control his anger issues at Arsenal. Granit Xhaka, you, sir, are a lemon! Lemon! Leave the club. Get out of here. I don't want you. You're a disgrace. Take that Arsenal shirt and burn it. I don't want to see you wearing it, right? Do whatever. If you don't like the club, well, piss off. I'm sick of your shit. You're a shit player. You're terrible. And then you do this shit. We're already struggling as a club. You don't need to get a red card. And he grabs the guy by the throat. Are you retarded? That's a red card every day of the week. Come on, man.
I love this shit.
It is now beyond a joke the amount of chances that this guy has had. The amount of chances. He keeps getting played. I don't care. Play Willock. We're lost in the Premier League. We've got no chance of making top four. We'd be lucky if we make Europa League. The only chance of making Europa League is if we win the Europa League. At least we make the Champions League. That's all we got, right? The season's done for us in the Premier League. Put the youth in there. Play the youth guy. Get Xhaka out. Stuff him. He's a waste of space at our club. Play the youth and let them learn. Keep playing these young guys. The season's done. So, what's the point? Why we keep playing him? Why?
It's true. You got to play your youth now. I completely agree with that. You got to get them back out there and just put time into them.
I don't know if it's Ozil or what the goal is here with Ozil, but I'm going to bring it back. Like, we
He's got to
lack
play. He's got to
creativity.
play. He's got to
Give
play.
him
As
like
much
the
as
guy
much as
sit.
Dom called him a head case a couple months ago,
Just
he's got to play, man. He's got to play.
play him, man. Like, he's getting paid. Like, this is the worst business you can do. Like, we can't go any worse than what we already are.
He's
Well,
got to
what
play.
are we done? We're
You are,
seven games without a goal in open play.
yeah, you're 15th on the standings as well. And as much as we said, oh, you can't get caught, and we laughed about it, um, you are literally from the bottom three, only 5 points out of it now because Fulham. I'll tell you what,
There's
Fulham's
still
come.
over 20 games to play, Dom.
I know there's potential. Like if you keep going on these trends and you can't score, and you could be in that zone because I can't see you getting relegated because you're better than Brighton, Burnley, West Brom, and Sheffield. I know Burnley beat you, but it was off an own goal. But Fulham's starting to play string together good football. They're not going to get relegated. I can't see that happening. But like you said, you're not making Europa League because I'll mention a few teams that are on top of you. Where you got to finish? You got to finish fourth. Oh no, fifth and sixth, isn't it, to get into Europa League? Fifth.
Yeah, and then I think there's a playoff
Yeah.
spot as
Anyway,
well.
these are the teams that are ahead of you, and they're all better than you. Leeds, maybe, give or take. But Wolves are better than you. You can probably get on top of Newcastle and Crystal Palace, maybe. But Aston Villa are better than you. Man City are better than you. United are better. Everton's better. West Ham's better. Chelsea's a hell of a lot better. And then you've got Southampton, Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham. You're not better than any of those teams in the top 10. Not one.
Just
Not one.
if you're an Arsenal supporter, just listen to that, right? Listen
You're not
to
better
that.
than any of that in the top
These are teams that we used to go to their home ground
and bury.
and bury them under
Yeah.
the days of Arsene Wenger. And everyone wanted Arsene Wenger out the door, and I've always said, be careful what you wish for. I wanted Arsene Wenger out the door, but I didn't want us to become an absolute shambles where we've regressed. We've pretty much gone back, you know, we haven't gone forward since Arsene Wenger. I'm going to say that.
No, you haven't. So those 10 teams, well, the teams in question, well, not in question anymore, but the teams that you were on the day you were better than majority of the time were Southampton, West Ham, Everton, Aston Villa, Wolves. That's 5 teams. And they're all ahead of you and they're all better than you today. As we speak, those 5 teams are better than you. And I don't care what anyone says and says, oh, yeah, but our list. No, your list is actually not better than those 5 teams. Those 5 teams are better. They're managed better. Their play style's better. Their talent crop is way better. Like, you compare yourselves to, like, Everton, where you could probably be on par a season ago. You got players better than James Rodriguez, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. No. So, anyway, it's going to be a recurring thing because I tell you what, if you get into that relegation area, you're not going to get relegated, but it's just going to be a sad couple of months, especially on this podcast when we talk about Arsenal, especially like if they don't do what Saucy said and play youth. The season's done now. You got to play the youth now. You got to get some time into them and hopefully got some hidden gems. And you got to play Ozil. Ozil and Arteta have to put their differences aside. I don't care what the difference is. Get over yourselves. In the end of the day, Arsenal is a business. It's not about the both of you. Neither of them two are bigger than the football club. Neither of them. Put the differences aside. Put Ozil in that team. You need playmaking. I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a lot of a better player than what freaking Granit Xhaka is. And to just touch on that, Source has been bagging Granit Xhaka since the beginning of this podcast. The best thing that happened was Patrice Evra came out and had that quote about Granit Xhaka that Thierry Henry said. Thierry Henry, if you haven't heard it, invited Patrice Evra over to his house to watch an Arsenal game. You turn on the television, you saw Granit Xhaka had got the captain's armband for the game, and he turned off the television, and Patrice Evra asked Thierry Henry, one of the greatest players of all time, arguably the best Arsenal player ever, and Patrice Evra asked him, why aren't we watching the game? He turned around and said, I turn on the game, and if Granit Xhaka is wearing the captain's if Granit Xhaka is captaining Arsenal, I refuse to watch the game because he's not a good player. And the follow-up to that comment was, we didn't watch the game. It wasn't like a tongue-in-cheek thing like, oh, Jacques is captain, I'm not watching this. It was, he turned the TV off and did not watch Arsenal play. That's saying something about Jacques. I know we're picking on a player, but we're picking on, it's just fact. He shouldn't be playing, full stop. Put Ozil in the team. Done. All right, we'll get to the standings. Liverpool and Tottenham. Tottenham first on 25 points. Liverpool second, 25 goal difference there. Leicester third on 24. Southampton fourth on 23. Chelsea fifth on 22. West Ham sixth on 20. Everton seventh on 20. Man United eighth on 20. Man City ninth on 19. Aston Villa on 19 in 10th. And Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and Wolves round out 11th, 12th, and 13th. Leeds 14th on 14 points. Arsenal 15th on 13. 16th is Brighton on 10. 17th is Burnley on 9. Fulham 18th on 8. West Brom 6. And Sheffield is on bottom with 1 point. All right, Champions League draws also came out.
Some absolutely cracking matches here.
Yeah, we've got Mönchengladbach versus Man City. Lazio versus Bayern Munich, Atletico versus Chelsea, Leipzig versus Liverpool, Porto versus Juventus, Sevilla versus Dortmund, Atalanta versus Real Madrid, and the cracker, Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. Looking forward to these, Saucy. Looking forward to these a lot. We've got some crackers in here. Hopefully the GOAT can continue his form against Porto and get Juventus to the final eight. That's what we want to see. Messi's in a bit of trouble down there at Barca, I think, against PSG, but if Neymar doesn't play, could be an issue there. Dortmund's coming up against Sevilla with a new coach, so because they lost their coach.
Oh, no, I see that.
So
some really look, the games that I'm really looking forward to, and I think can have great potential. Obviously, we've got PSG versus Barca. I actually don't think that's as close of a matchup as what people think. I think PSG is going to win that matchup. The one I'm looking forward to the most is most definitely Atletico versus Chelsea. That will be a cracking matchup. But also, this is a sneaky one, which I think there's potential for Atalanta and Real Madrid. We've seen what Atalanta could do last year in the Champions League, where they were, they're able to score. And Real Madrid, although they're playing well, they do have still some injuries, I believe. But I just think it's not going to be. Although I think Real Madrid will progress, it could be an interesting matchup.
Definitely.
So, and yeah, and Liverpool Leipzig will be a good matchup. I believe they've versed a previous time once before in the Premier League. I mean, in the Champions League. Sorry, and it was goals galore.
Yeah, but and then also just to quickly run through them, the games for this week in the Premier League were Arsenal versus Southampton.
That's a
Leeds.
loss.
Yep, Leeds versus Newcastle, Leicester, Everton, Fulham, Brighton, Liverpool, Spurs, ripping game, 1 versus 2, so stay tuned for that one. West Ham, Palace, Aston Villa, Burnley, Sheffield United, and then we'll keep moving forward because the games on Saturdays then Palace versus Liverpool, Southampton, Man City, Everton, Arsenal. There's a few catch-up games in here, I think. So Everton, Arsenal, so you've got some ripping games coming up, Arsenal. Newcastle, Fulham, Brighton, Sheffield. We've got to keep running through these because these are all before the pod next Wednesday. Then we've got Spurs, Leicester, United, Leeds, West Brom, Aston Villa, Burnley, Wolves, and Chelsea versus West Ham. So there's a few catch-up games
on
in
tomorrow, Domma.
Yeah, there's games galore from tomorrow all the way through to next Tuesday.
And there's one thing that I did want to mention. Was during the week I shared out on the socials Liverpool's injury list. I think this is going to be a really, really tough period for them. January period, they're still in the FA Cup. They're still in the Champions League. You got the Premier League, who's ramping up the games. Now you got big week games, as you can see here. And we know over this January period and Christmas January period, it's really a jam packed with games. This is where some of those injuries can really catch up with them. And I think they're going to fall off in one of the competitions or all of them. I think it's going to be really hard for them to keep up. We've seen obviously the first signs of it against Fulham, where they sort of weren't on, and now with Klopp having to play the youngsters, as he's got injuries to some real key guys.
He does.
For especially for his depth, and I just can't see them how they stay up near the top of that Premier League ladder. I can actually look. I don't think saying they're going to drop off a lot, but I can see them probably dropping off enough that I can't see them winning the title this season.
No, not this year. Not this year.
I just those injuries are really hard to overcome, especially with the amount of games that they're going to have to play.
They're holding on by like inches. If there's one guy in that team, if they lose, and I hope they get no more injuries to key guys, but if Mohamed Salah goes down, that is it. Like, he is holding them together. He's dominating. Like, he's a key. He's
the
a
last
gun.
3-4 seasons, he's taken his game.
But he's one of those guys. Like, they got no Van Dijk, they got no Thiago, no Jota now. Like, they're struggling.
Their defense is a liability, Domma.
I know.
Their defense is a liability, and if you're a Liverpool fan out there and you don't accept that, well, you've got to accept that, because out of the top 10 tables in the top 10 teams in the league, you've conceded equally the most goals with 18, equally with Everton, who's also conceded 18, and everyone else in that top 10 has conceded under that. And you've got the other guys in the top 4 who have all conceded less than you. And, Chelsea, which is my personal pick. I think Chelsea and Tottenham, as long as Tottenham can stay fit, Son and Kane can stay fit, and they don't lose. I think if they lose one for a certain amount of time, I think they can probably cover it. They lose both, I think their whole season is done. But, touch wood, we don't want any injuries.
Yeah, we don't want injuries.
We want this to be a really exciting finish to the Premier League season.
Exactly.
It's shaping up that way, where that top 5, all the top 5 within what? 3 points, Domma. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, 100%. Chelsea's winning it. I called it, so it's happening. So anyway, we're going to move on. Coming up next,
now, Arsenal's getting relegated.
yeah. Coming up next, we've got some UFC. All right, we're back at some UFC. Saucy, take us through the card, mate. We had a decent card, mate, on the weekend.
Decent card indeed, Domma. Decent card indeed, and probably one of the greatest UFC fights you ever watch, Domma. This fight, we'll run through the card, and I'll talk about
Yeah,
it
done.
The heavyweight division, we had Junior Dos Santos versus Cyril Gane. What did I say last week, Domma?
Dos Santos was losing.
Dos Santos was losing, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if he gets knocked out. Finished in the second round, knocked out in the second round, Domma. Cyril Gane extends it to 7-0, and Junior Dos Santos, mate, you need to hang up the gloves. What's the point of fighting if you're not going to have any chance at winning the title? And the way you fought, sort of, over your last, I think he's had 1 win over his last 4 bouts. He's not looking good. Kevin Holland, real exciting fighter, got the KO in the first round over Ronald Sousa, and Kevin Holland, crazy bastard, calls out a guy and says he wants to fight in next week. So he finished it in the first round, barely got a scratch on him, knocked him out, and called out someone and told Dana White he wants to fight next week on the card. So he wants to back it up in a week's time and get another payday. That's how keen he is, and he just says he loves to fight. And with a win that easy, he's got no reason. He's literally got no effects. He feels 100%, and he's in fighting shape because he's just trained for that fight for however many weeks in training camp. So he's ready to go. So we'll see if he gets a fight either this week or next week. The bloke's keen as mustard. And then in the women's strawweight, you had Mackenzie Dern defeated Verna Yandaroba for the 3rd round decision, and the lightweight co-main event, you had Charles Oliveira defeated Tony Ferguson. This was a great fight. But Oliveira was just he was
Too
just
good.
better. He was just too good. He won it, convincingly on the judges' scorecards. There was one bit of vision. I don't know how Tony Ferguson still has his arm ligaments intact. I thought he'd broken his arm, and mate, Tony Ferguson's made of elastic, man. Like
He's crazy.
the
How
way
he didn't tap is beyond me.
didn't tap on that armbar submission attempt by Oliveira. If you haven't seen the footage, just find it somewhere. There'll be a highlight on YouTube or
It was
something.
unbelievable.
Crazy stuff. Then we had the main fight. Davison Figueroa versus Brandon Moreno. First and foremost, credit to Brandon Moreno, who's I believe come through the Tough Series fighting sort of reality show where Dana White has actually found some of the greatest fighters who've gone on to be part of the UFC roster. Came through that. Came in, people didn't expect much of him, but took the champ 5 rounds, got a draw. Most definitely he's going to get a rematch. That's for sure. And this fight had absolutely everything, Domma. Probably, I can't argue with the draw. It did lean towards Figueroa because he's the champ, that's all right too. And probably in the sport of boxing, they probably would have just given it to the champ. Let's be honest. But in UFC, they've called it a draw, and it was, I can't argue with the decision. Both guys gave it 100%, and it was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. There was just, it had everything. It had everything. Like if you find a replay, go watch it. It's a must see fight. Ended in a draw, but in terms of the actual fighting, the skill, the will, desire, where you had guys, you thought guys were done. You thought they were done, but they just come back. It just had everything. It was an amazing fight, and credit to both fighters. Domma. Now on to this week, where we've got UFC Fight Night, Thompson versus Neal. Run through the main card. You got the heavyweight division, which is definitely one that I want to tune into. Marcin Tybura versus Greg Hardy. That will be a good bout. Women flyweight, Jillian Robertson versus Talia Santos. Bantamweight division, you got Marilyn Moraes versus Rob Font. You got welterweight division, Mikael Pereira versus Kaylin Williams. And then the bantamweight division, Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. That's a must see, that one. And then you got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jeff Neal. That's going to be a good bout. Wonderboy, when he's on, is one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. That's for sure. So that's actually a really good, for not a main,
for a fight card,
for just a fight night. That is a really, really, really good card. And I would suggest you tune in, because the fight nights, the good thing about it is it's free and live on ESPN. So if you've got cable TV, ESPN, or if you can't, a great thing is now the pubs and the likes are open in Melbourne, so you can go out to the pub and tune in.
Watch it, definitely.
Watch it Sunday, 11 a.m. Main card kicks off.
Bang, nice, Saucy. All right, coming up next, NFL. All right, we're back with some NFL Week 14 results. We're going to get through these nice and quickly. We had Patriots-Rams, 24-3 loss for the Patriots. 7 losses in a season for the first time since 2002 for the Patriots. So not faring well post Tom Brady. We have Broncos-Panthers. Broncos got the chocolates there. Drew Lock had a career high 4 pass TDs. Chicago versus Texans, beat them 36-7. Chicago defense had 7 sacks, the most since Week 11 in 2005. Cowboys versus Bengals. First win by more than 3 points for the season for the Cowboys. They beat them 30-7. Packers clinched the NFC North by beating the Lions 31-24. So Saucy, you're on the money with the Packers there, which is very, very good. Titans versus Jags. Titans beat them 31-10. Chiefs versus Dolphins, which was a fantastic game. It's just swinging back and forth. Dolphins were up in this, but then the Chiefs put on, was it 28 points in a row or something? 18 points in a row. Got the
Mahomes
chop.
just
Mahomes
goes. It's Mahomes time. It's Mahomes time,
just
and
so
he put on 28 unanswered points in the second quarter and the third quarter after halftime, and just put the game to bed.
he's just annoyingly phenomenal. Like when you versus his team, I love him. I reckon he's an absolute gun. They clinched the AFC West with that win, so looking primed and ready going into the playoffs. Cardinals smacked the Giants 26-7, coming off a 5-game losing streak. I think Arizona, so good to get back on the winners list. The Bucks have won 7 of their last 9 games against our boy Kirk Cousins. They beat him 26-14. Good win there. The Colts beat the Raiders 44-27. Vegas
Nice.
now lost 3 of their last four games, and they started 6-3.
And what happened to that? What's happened to that defense?
Oh, they're just
Giving up
struggling.
44 points
I
to
know.
my boys, the Colts.
Yeah,
and
they
my
got
boys, the
smacked.
Colts, are looking good to
Yeah.
win their division. They've got a big game coming up, I believe. Against they're playing another divisional game or another 2 divisional games in their last 4 rounds.
And don't forget the Raiders copped 45 points on them last week as well when they lost 45-3. So they've given up almost 99 points in 2 weeks. Jeez,
And people were talking up this defense earlier on in the season.
That's a lot of points. That is a lot of points. That's a lot of TDs. A lot of TDs. Jets versus Seahawks, no brainer here. Jets have lost 13 straight losses, the longest in their team's history.
Quick mention, Domma. I feel sorry for the bloke. A big multi was posted on BR Betting where the bloke has had altered the line and put Jets plus 35.5 on the line. And it was the only one of the multi to let him down for a big handsome payout. And of course, it's the Jets. So
Unlucky. Very, very unlucky.
Don't worry, I know the feeling, ladies and gents. That's why I think I'm just about packed up the bets for the season. I'll leave my personal account on up about $30 of the season, so I think it could nearly be packing it up at this point because I've got no clue what I'm doing, as we've proven on previously on the show.
Done and dusted. Then we had Falcons Chargers. Chargers got the win there, 20-17. Saints versus Eagles. Jalen Hurts, who stepped in for Carson Wentz, gets the win, 24-21. And the Eagles now going to push to try and win this division, but I think it could be out of reach because next up we had Washington versus 49ers, and Washington got a win, moved to 6-7, which is great for them. So a team that was shambolic last year, in a bit of turmoil in their football club.
50-50 record, though.
Yeah, I know. They're just playing really well, which is good, consistent.
It's because they got rid of the Redskins and just called themselves Washington.
But this is the thing. They had all this controversy around them before the season started, and then stuff in their front office and what was happening. And anyway, they've banded together.
Overachieved, in my opinion.
They definitely had. And in the last 2 games, which had massive, massive repercussions, Bills beat the Steelers 26-15.
What does that mean in that division there?
Well, the next game, Browns needed to win this to go to 10-4 to go 1 game behind the Steelers. But in what was potentially game of the year, the Ravens come back and win this 47-42. Lamar Jackson goes into the locker room, said he was cramping up, wasn't feeling the best. Comes out Superman style. If you haven't seen the footage, he runs from the locker room because the backup quarterback gets injured. I forget his name. But he runs out of the locker room, Superman style, as if he's running out of the telephone booth. He doesn't even need to put on the cape. You know what he does? He puts on that Ravens helmet, gets back on the field, and throws the go-ahead TD to get him up 42 to 35, and then the Browns Baker Mayfield just charges down, gets them to 42 apiece. Then they get it, and then they kick the go-ahead field goal. The reason they got to 47 is because they gave up safety points at the end because they tried to extend the play, and it got pushed all the way back into their end zone. But the go-ahead field goal by Tucker sealed that game 45-42. The extra 2 points came after because they couldn't win it back, the Browns. But a lot lining up with only 3 weeks left. 15, 16, 3 weeks left in the season. Games this week are Chargers, Raiders, Bills, Broncos, Panthers, Packers, 49ers, Cowboys, Seahawks, Washington, Bears, Vikings. That's a divisional game. Patriots, Dolphins, another divisional game. Jags, Ravens, Bucks, Falcons, Lions, Titans, Texans, Colts, Eagles, Cardinals, Jets, Rams. This is a great game. Chiefs, Saints, Browns, New York, Steelers, Bengals. No teams have a bye, so everyone's out on the Park Lane, which will be good. So that's NFL. Obviously, it's heating up now as we're coming up to playoffs in the next few weeks, and we're looking forward to the playoffs. Who's going to get the wild card spots? And we'll see if the Chiefs can go back to back, which would be awesome. There you go. That's NFL. Coming up next, we've got some quick little things to go over in the NBA, and then we'll get to Sauceys rant. So coming up next, NBA. All right, we're back. NBA news, Sauce. We weren't really going to get into this because, as we said at the top of the show, we've got a special coming up with Talking Cardboard, which is going to be awesome. But you know how we are, mate. We give our predictions and we love doing it. And I'll be the first one. I'm gonna raise my hand first. I'm gonna say I was wrong. Sauce, I was wrong.
We both said it. Domma.
We're wrong.
Both said,
and we said on this show, we'll happily admit when we're
Yeah.
wrong, and we're wrong. We're proven right until we're proven wrong on this show, and we've been proven wrong. So Giannis signed a 5-year, $228 million contract. Max is staying with the Bucks. This is great for the city of Milwaukee, I can tell you that much. Now they can try and get some more pieces to surround him. Obviously, as we said, we are spewing that they didn't get Bogdanovic. That would have been even better for Milwaukee, but they did get Drew Holiday. They've got a few pieces there, and they'll look pretty good. The East is actually shaping up to be pretty strong going into this season because obviously we've got Brooklyn and with Kyrie and KD. Philly looks all right. Got a few pieces there. And then obviously Atlanta's becoming a lot better. But Giannis signs a contract, which is fantastic, as we said. But what did I say to you this morning, Sauce? Doesn't mean he can't get traded.
He's still doubtful. But well done to the Bucks organization by locking that big max contract in for the 2-time MVP and the bloke who still cannot shoot a mid-range jumper. But
with that money, hopefully they can put it into his jump shot training for mid-range.
Massive positive for the franchise and for that Milwaukee market. Because when you get that big player, that big scalp, the guy who fills seats and puts bums on seats in the arena, because no doubt people would go to the games just to see Giannis. You'd probably even get guys who when flights and things are allowed to happen and people are able to see games again, people probably go to Milwaukee to watch a game and go watch Giannis at Milwaukee's home court. So it helps their city, it helps everything. So
congrats to them, definitely.
Congrats to them first and foremost, and hopefully now the Bucks organization and there's more security there in long term, and hopefully they can get the guys around them. I mean, they've at least got, let's be honest, they've at least got another 4 years to make it happen. And I think probably what helped them was the fact that they went and made moves this offseason and tried to improve. Maybe was a sign that Giannis liked, that Giannis was like, well, I like playing my basketball here. They're trying to get me pieces and guys. So, hopefully that's more to come. I think they probably still need another one elite level
Yeah,
player.
they probably need one more.
And then it's probably going to be Giannis's East to try have that
Well,
reign over, try get that successive sort of push
100%.
towards conference finals, Eastern
Yeah,
Conference
definitely.
finals.
Definitely. Hopefully they can get there and they can get it done. And then the second thing I just wanted to touch on. Now, all we've heard was just this draft class is going to stink compared to last year's. We're going to touch on a lot more, obviously, when we talk to the Talking Cardboard boys. But all we've seen so far, I know it's preseason, but just remember there's second year guys playing and there's vets playing in this thing. But all I'm seeing is just the rookies dominate so far. They're balling out. I'll tell you what, Cleveland, Darius Garland looks like he's progressing pretty well, which is good.
Yeah.
But they found someone in Okoro here who he's balling out and playing really, really, really well. OKC with Maladon, he played one game, had 20 points, which is good. This is awesome because they're a young team, obviously surrounded. SGA is the main guy there. Denny Avija, like for Washington, another good get. My boy Cole Anthony, like these guys are playing really, really well in preseason. I know it is preseason. A lot can happen once we get into the regular season. Obviously, with the travel and repetitiveness of games, it's not like college where it's like one game a week.
And there'll be
Yeah,
now more back to backs this season.
yeah, more
Where
back to
previously
backs.
there is
Yeah,
they tried to reduce that. We've had to bring that back with the situation. What's going on? So this all ties into how these young guys are going to be able to transition to the NBA. It's all part of becoming a professional basketball
exactly.
player.
Signs are
And
all so far. It looks
yeah, and
promising.
but like I just think like I get it, I do get it. The hype not as big, especially in hobby terms, around this draft class. But I still think there's still going to be those guys that come out of this draft class that are going to be good.
Well,
And
the funny thing is, like, Hachimura and all those guys, PJ Washington, were killing it during the season. That's when they got found out to be like great prospects in that 1920 draft. They didn't dominate like how they played in the regular season, in preseason. So we got a good look. The difference in this draft is like all these kids are killing it in the preseason, and people going, "Oh, that guy's good, that guy's good." And leading into the first regular season game, everyone's like, "We want to collect these guys straight away for like the card hobby," where it was just by pure luck. If you got PJ Washington instead of selling him, he'd started dominating. You're like, "Well, I'm going to hold it now." And the same with Hachimura. Like he didn't actively go in and say, "I'm going to collect that guy" at
Domma,
the start
all
of
I'm
the season.
saying is,
So
guys I've seen on card market people paying $10 and $15 for PJ Washington base cards, prison base cards, and my eyes absolutely lit up because I'm just flush with PJ Washington base cards. I bought a whole lot of them back when I was getting them for like $2 a pop. Some I was even picking up for $2, $3, $1. You know,
and the
so
other
happy
yeah,
days.
and the last and the other thing, just quickly, like Zion played yesterday, and he looked really really good. They got no restrictions on him. He looked really good, and you're probably thinking,
Does he look fitter, Domma? Does he look
yeah, he
fitter?
does, he does. But I know what everyone's probably thinking, the listeners and the viewers, and they're probably thinking, oh yeah, but Dom said don't put your trust in Zion. Everyone was jumping on his bandwagon. I know he had 26 and he dominated. He played a Miami team that had no one playing. Literally, no one was playing. So he beat up on them. And that's fair enough. Like, I'm just happy got through the game unscathed. Just calm your farm. Like I said, give it this season. You got to give it a full season. I don't care about one preseason game. All
Yeah.
my advice to you was just be careful and don't put all your eggs in one
Let's see how
basket.
he goes. No restriction on
Yeah,
minutes.
that's what
Backing
I'm
it
saying.
up.
My thing, yeah, I never once said don't collect Zion. I said don't put all your eggs in one basket for Zion. So don't misconstrue what I said. I said he's going to be a good player and hopefully he doesn't get hurt with injuries. But I did say I think Ja Morant will be the better player out of the two. I could be wrong, but we don't know yet. At the moment, he is better than Zion because he's pieced together a full season. Literally, he's just dominating. Like Ja Morant. I don't know about his haircut at the moment, but He's playing really, really well.
Doesn't
But
matter
the whole
when you
thing
can
is, yeah,
cross up guys like that. You can
and
have
just
whatever
yeah,
haircut you
I
want.
know it's like dunking on people. But
I know. If you see
yeah,
that
it's
highlight, he
unbelievable.
crossed up that bloke and just rose up.
Oh, he's unbelievable. But
Honestly,
what I'm
he's
saying
got that that literally it's Russell Westbrook. I
is,
feel like I'm watching Russell
it
Westbrook
is.
again. How the relentless attack on the rim that Russell Westbrook had. Like he still has that relentless attack. It's probably not as much.
Yeah, yeah,
But early on in his career, like Russell Westbrook was a monster going to the
yeah. As we said, it's literally that's his comp. He is Westbrook, but the difference is
rim.
we
Shoot
said
three
that
pointers.
yeah, he can shoot, and the other thing is we said his awareness of play seems to be a lot better. Like he's not going to go jack up a three when there's three guys on him. He's going to look for the option to get it to someone. That's the difference. So he's a bit more refined in that space as a rookie compared to Westbrook. But like I said, take your time with Zion. Don't jump down our throats. Well, not Sauceys, because Saucy reckons Zion's going to be good. But don't jump down my throat. Just calm your farm. He's played one preseason game. Relax. Relax. I hope he's going to be great. Like I said, I hope he's Sean Kemp without the injuries.
But Tommy, you know where I draw the line, and I've said this multiple times. When those card prices start to be eclipsing some of the Shaquille O'Neal card prices, that's where I draw the line. Eclipsing a bloke who's won 4 championships, multiple MVPs, Finals MVPs, when Zion hasn't even pieced together a full season.
Hey, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Save for Saucy's rant. I know you're G'd up. You're getting a preview, ladies and gents.
It's going to be exciting.
He's getting excited. All right, well, that's pretty much it for basketball. Let's get to that quick intermission and let's get into not Sauceys Smokey, Saucy's rant this week. Coming up next. All right, we're back. Saucy Smokey. We're back. We're back. We're back. We had some technical. We're back.
Technical difficulties.
I've
changed up the setup here, Domma.
He's changed it up.
It's confused me. It's confused you, man. I'm pretty sure our audio is a tiny little bit delayed on the video as well, so I'm going to play around with this during the week. That's so first and foremost, I apologise for that. Anyone who's stuck through us here and watched the live. Playing around with things because I'm trying, Domma, I'm always testing you.
Yeah, we're trying to get this. As always, we're always trying to get the podcast more and more efficient as we move along. But we're up to the most anticipated segment of the show, Sauceys Smokey, in brackets, rant this week. It's more of a rant because, like he said last week, he's not buying anything. He's just saying, put your money, save it, put it to your Christmas presents. That's what Saucy said to you last week. But he's come in with a nice public service announcement, a bit of a rant this week, public rant announcement, more like it, about if you are going to buy cards, what not to do at this point in time. Saucy, come on, give it to him. I know you're not happy.
Yeah, and Domma, I'm just this is a public service announcement about the car market and what's happening. With the season coming up, the preseason games just started. Everyone's getting hyped, and I don't blame people. Everyone's getting hyped about Jar coming back, Zion coming back, Luka, Trae Young, all the new rookies. And I'm excited too because I want to see some NBA. And I'm excited for my Lakers to go back to back. So that's where the excitement starts for me. But where the line in the sand is drawn for me in the card market is when you are now where I'm seeing the same pattern. What happened last year on the lead up into the season, early parts of the season. Current day players now starting to eclipse legends. Legends. Let me tell you, Hall of Fame legends. Where you've got these current day players who have accomplished absolutely jack shit are now eclipsing legends. That's where the line in the sand for the card market is with me. Sell your modern day to these guys buying these absolutely astronomical prices, stupid prices if you ask me, and buy the vintage guys. Buy the vintage guys. Buy your Shaqs. Buy your, well, maybe not Tim Duncan because he just doesn't seem to get any love at all. But, Tim Duncan's a good option because he's won 5 chips. Kobe Bryant, Kobe B. Bryant, the Black Mamba, he's so underpriced, it's criminal. He's going to have doco series coming out. He's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like, ladies and gents, Kobe Bryant, his cards, how cheap they are right now is a joke. There's no way that his cards should be that cheap. Everyone's forgetting about some of the greatest players to walk the planet. LeBron James, rookie exclusive, Upper Deck rookie exclusive, which I've mentioned multiple times on this show, is still so cheap. Where you can literally buy a BGS 9.5. How's this for an insult, Domma? You can buy a BGS 9.5 of LeBron James Upper Deck rookie exclusive card for $300, right? And a Trae Young Optic base card BGS 9.5 is also going for $300. You tell me, what the hell has Trae Young accomplished? What the hell has Trae Young accomplished?
I'll tell you what he's accomplished.
This is no dig. I keep saying this is no dig at these guys. This is no dig. I'm just saying I'd rather buy accomplishments and not thin air, essentially.
You know what he's accomplished? He's going to get to his first.
If Trae Young never wins a championship, what is that $300 card worth at the end of his career?
He's getting to a playoff series, mate.
What is that worth at the end of his career if he never wins a chip?
But this is the thing that we've always discussed. I know I'm trying to just friggin' rile you up a bit more, but let's be honest. Like we said this a few weeks ago. What happens if he never wins a chip? So is his prices going to stay at that price, or is it going to be relevant and then be like, well, he never won anything compared to like Curry, we'll say. Somehow he's more expensive than Curry. But anyway, you look at it and you go, well, he accomplished nothing compared to Curry. All right, so do we just regulate his prices now because his career's finished? And he's all these cards are worth $100 because he had a solid career. I don't understand how that's going to work. I just don't know how that. Yeah, that's the only thing that confuses me. I genuinely don't know how it's going to work.
Domma, I'm getting something up. I'm getting it up.
You're using our boys, aren't you?
I'm using our boys out there. We're always going to dive in.
Hoj, we're using his product, the Godfather of data. We are using your product, as you know. We love it. So, Hoj,
so we've got it up. Card ladder. Thank you very much once again for providing these amazing graphs. Here we go. We've got it up. Luka the Don, NBA hoops. PSA 10 with a pop report of 2,730, right? Last sold 362. We've also had a couple of sales at around about the $400 mark. We had one sold at $401 on the what's this? The 4th. So what's this? 2 weeks ago. So it hit the 400. Previously it was up around 400. Domma. I'm flicking it over, and I'm going to flick it over to another NBA Hoops PSA 10 card of another rookie card of another guy by the name of Kobe Bryant, which last sold for $455. There was one that sold, Luka Doncic sold 2 weeks ago for $50 cheaper than this. So you're telling me for an extra $50, I can buy Kobe Bryant, which has a pop report of 458. Luka Doncic has a pop report of 2,730, and that is growing. This pop report of Kobe Bryant is growing minusculely because it has such a hard gem rate. 38% gem rate. I keep bringing this back. When will it become a point? The fact that this card is at $2,000 is a joke. This card should be $2,000. How it's only $50 more expensive than a Luka Doncic is beyond me. What the fuck is wrong with the hobby?
Yeah, but he's Luka the Don.
I just don't get it, Domma. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on?
He's working frantically, because he's just He's not happy.
I'm trying to find the Shaquille O'Neal hoops as well.
He's not happy. This is great. Shaq wasn't even that good. Shaq was
This is what I'm saying. It's a public service announcement, ladies and gents.
Public rant announcement. It's
Public rant announcement about just what are you doing? Honestly, what are you doing?
Well,
What are you guys doing? I'm bringing up another one of our favorite platforms. 130 point. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Always helping us out.
I still don't get it. Honestly, we apologize if we sound like broken records to the listeners, but seriously, come on. Enough's enough.
Around this for ages.
Honestly, enough's enough. Because you know what the funny thing is? Now when the season starts, all these vintage guys and legends are going to be worth nothing again. Like, they're probably going to go down even further because everyone's going to be focused on bloody the next... Well, when Cole Guy shoots 20 in a game and Cole Guy's cards go up through the roof and everyone's like, oh, let's buy Cole Guy because he's the next big thing.
You've got a Shaquille O'Neal PSA 10 NBA hoops selling for $100 US. If that's not the biggest insult, the biggest absolute insult...
Hey, it's not an insult, mate. You should be happy about that. That's good. The more these cards stay at these prices, we just go buy them.
You got Trae Young selling at 150, right? Oh. NBA hoops. You got Jason Tatum, right? Selling at, here we go, Jason Tatum. Accomplished nothing. Once again, I love Jason Tatum. He's a great player. At 150 as well.
So what was Shaq? 155.
No, Shaq's 100. 102 last sold. So $50 cheaper and you can get a Shaq. Mind you, the gem rate on the Shaq is way less. Devin Booker last sold. Oh, that was wild though. It was back and forth in November. Last sold for 320. Jesus. I was just checking that just to see. Just to see. But ladies and gents, I cannot stress this enough. It's the vintage guys that are underpriced right now. You got everyone's attention's on there. And what happened previously was, everyone was looking at these new guys, the modern day, everyone forgetting about the vintage, and then the vintage took a bump later after that because people realized, you can't be paying this much for Trae Young when you've got legends of the game only this much, and it's the same pattern. I feel is happening again because I've already seen it once.
No, definitely.
So I reckon it's happening again, and then these guys are also going to get a bump. But you've also got to remember, like a guy like Shaq, a guy like Kobe, doco series coming out. We've seen the hysteria around the doco series with
Jordan,
The Last Dance, Jordan. People then, people couldn't even sell their freaking Horace Grant cards, and then all of a sudden everyone wants bloody Horace Grant because he was in the doco or he played on the Bulls or some of the other guys.
He won a title.
So,
couple.
Even Pippen, Rodman cards, they took a massive bump, and Shaq's going to be a massive part of that documentary with Kobe. Especially, it's probably going to be one of the main narrators or voices within that, considering the unfortunate passing of Kobe himself. So he's not going to be in it. So Shaq's going to be a major part, and those rookie cards, they shouldn't be that cheap. And even like his tops, as I've said, he's one of his most desirable cards is his tops, and even that is becoming to a point where it's it's affordable. Like it's more than affordable. So people and I was scrolling through Facebook and people keep bringing it back. I was printed in the junk wax era, and they throw out this line, the junk wax era, right? About Shaq cards because it was during the peak time of that era. But I look at today's cards and how many variations of rookie cards there are for Zion, for Ja, for Luka, and
I'm just gonna say the number because I've got potentially the number right here. With my data analytic skills, which aren't the greatest, but the number from last year, just listen, I'm going to get nice and close to my microphone here. All right. Panini last year created 118,634 different types of cards. Different types, not cards in total, different types. So that is variants to unlimited print, 99 print, 25 print, 250 print, number to 1, number to 5, number to 10, number to 15. But 118,500 types of cards across their products. So when Sauce says you use that throwaway line, oh, the junk wax era, so much was printed, what the fuck are we doing now? That was last year. Mind you, I'm halfway through this year, and it's at 125,000 different types of cards this year. I'm not even done going through it. That's, for 1920. So it's potentially going to be 200,000 different types of cards, which is millions and millions and millions and millions of cards, and you're bagging the junk wax era.
And I'll tell you this right now. Back then, because everyone thought it was overprinted and everything, people weren't opening packs and putting it, as soon as they opening it with gloves and putting it in a sleeve and putting it in a top loader. They didn't give a fuck. They just didn't care about the card. So that's why getting these graded cards, getting cards in graded conditions, you look at PSA 9s and the PSA 9s from that era, all right, it's a 9, but if you look at the actual gem rate on it, the gem rate of the 9 is like, 30%. And then now you've got modern day cards that have a gem rate of a PSA 10 at 50-60%. And then you've got PSA 10s that have gem rate of 15%. Like, I keep going on and on and on. Like, I don't know how many more times I can say the same thing and repeat myself. Like, wake up, people, because at some point, when out of all these guys that you're investing in modern day, only 3 to 5% of these guys are going to become GOATs. Or all-time Hall of Famers.
Yeah, goated, not goats.
Goated, whatever, right? That mantra. And they're the players that you want to, at the end of the day, have majority of your funds in. Because they're the ones that are going to appreciate the most. There's so much speculation on the market these days that it's just becoming a joke. That these guys who solidified their place in basketball history are being forgotten about. Like, it's a joke. It is a joke. I can't stress it enough. Wake up. Even LeBron, like the fact that guys are paying the same for freaking Trey Youngs and guys in their first 1, 2, 3 seasons, 4 seasons as the GOAT or a GOAT, and who's still currently playing could potentially win another 2 chips.
I know. I that part I don't get. How LeBron rookies are still affordable is beyond me. Like the Smokey put out a couple of weeks ago on LeBron's. It's a different variant. Obviously, it's not his Topps Chrome rookie, but that other one.
But then I compared it to Trey Young's not most famous variant in Optic and even Select. I've seen Select going for 250 BGS 9.5. So and I say 300 because that's on the upper side of that upper deck rookie exclusive LeBron James card. But I've also seen them go from anywhere between 250 to 300 in that range. So it's the same range that you're paying for a Trey Young Select card, base card, or Concourse, or Trey Young Optic base card. Like, I get it. I love Trey Young, but Trey Young ever going to eclipse or get to the point of LeBron James? No fucking way, man. No, you're not even going to get close.
That's LeBron James we're talking about. We can still go get LeBron rookies. No, I just don't. For affordable rookies. Even, honestly, realistically, let's think about it. His Topps Chrome rookie is actually affordable.
Shouldn't be that cheap.
It's actually affordable. Let's be realistic now. Let's not, bullshit anyone. It actually is affordable. Yeah, look up, yeah. We're talking about... Let's just put it this way. We're talking about that Luka Dragon, like we said. Like, it's a $50,000 card, potentially.
So the Topps Chrome PSA 10 is going for now last sold at $13.50. If you were smart enough and you had the coin, you could have bought one for less than $10K. And I'm telling you right now, if he keeps going and it potentially pushes towards the hype that will build towards another good run with the Lakers, looking into finishing top on the West, top 2 in the West, this card could be up near 18,000, 20,000 at some point during the season. And I just think, with a pop report of only 2,055.
I know, that's unbelievable.
Ladies and gents, like this is like when you have a look at it, the Zion's pop report on his prison base is already up to 11,000 PSA 10. Right? So
That's the thing I just don't understand. It's just mind-boggling, man. It genuinely is just mind-boggling. And we're not trying to tell you, well, we are to an extent, like not forcing you or telling. I know a lot of people in the hobby like, oh, we don't like people that tell people what to buy. All right, then we'll let people just buy what they want, and then they'll just lose money because they'll just buy all these rookies that have Taylor Horton Tucker games once or Bol games in a scrimmage, and they waste all their money there, and then they lose all their money because those guys eventuate to nothing. And you're telling people, like people that have been in the hobby for a long time, oh, you should not tell people who to invest in. What, man, we want people to get bang for their buck for certain cards. We're not saying don't invest in modern day players. Yes, there are. There's certain guys, like Saul said, yes, you should. Trae Young, yeah, you probably should invest in him. Yeah? We're just saying comparable to the legends, the discrepancy is ridiculous. But Trae Young, Tatum, Doncic, those are the guys you go invest in. Don't go and be like, oh, Horton Tucker shot 33, so I'm going to go drop bloody $500 and buy
here's
Horton
the Upper
Tucker
Deck
cards.
rookie
Like,
exclusive
come
that I was
on.
talking about. PSA 10, there's only 819 in the pop report. It's got dark edges. I keep talking about this with the dark edges. It's got dark edges all on the front. That is so sensitive to damage, right? 819 on the pop report. The fact that it is gone down, like it was up near $1,400, right? There was a sold on the what's this? The month before October. I've gone back blank on the 9th month.
September, mate.
September, mate. September, right? September on the September the 23rd, there was one that sold for $1,300. It's now down. Last sold to $750, right? If you've got $1,000 Australian dollars, go buy this card. You can't go wrong, right? With a pop of less than 1,000, meaning on our PSA 10, you cannot go wrong. Like if you can't afford that, I mean, there's other options. You can, I mean, even his bazooka card, which I don't like the look of. I think his bazooka card, I can't believe that this bazooka card, anyone who hasn't seen it, like this bazooka, LeBron James rookie bazooka card is going for 150. Is one of the most ugliest cards of all time. But yet that upper deck card, which looks way better, in my opinion, aesthetically, is going for, you can buy a raw one for 50 to 75 US dollars. And the raw one of that bazooka card's 150. So like I just think there's opportunity even in LeBron cards. Like it's how I'm saying this about a LeBron rookie cards. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's beyond all of us, to be honest. Like, even if he falls off a cliff this season, like game wise, he's still going to go down as the second best player to ever play anyway. So who really cares? Like, even if he goes down, he
BGS
goes
9.5.
down.
I've talked about it. Rookie exclusives. Go on, elaborate. I'm just waiting for this to load
No,
up.
but you got to think about it. Like, he's probably going to win another title. Even if he doesn't win another title, think about the sequence of events that come post LeBron's career: documentaries, Hall of Fame induction, which we've seen in the past fluctuate the market value of cards. So even if he ends his career now with 4 titles and stuff, third all-time scoring,
Domma,
I don't get it, mate.
this in a BGS 9.5. The pop report's 1,182, right? On that rookie exclusive. So, just over the 1,000. It was sold back in September again, around there for $700, right? And then a sale after that for $500. So let's say that it was probably up around, let's just say $500 to be safe. You can now get one for under $300. Last sold for $280. As I said, I told you they were selling between $250 to $300.
Yeah.
So $280, you can go buy this car. Like, that's the same price as you can get in modern day players. Like, when I mean modern day, like guys in their first 3 seasons. You've got a guy on the back end of his career that's already won 4 championships. Is going to end his career as the scoring leader.
Potentially. He
right?
might not get to Kareem, but he could. He most likely will.
Well, he's going to probably be second for sure. Let's lock that in.
Second for sure, 100%.
Lock second 100%. In, right? How
all time playoff leader in all categories, all time. points, rebounds, assists. He's number one. Like,
I'm baffled, Domma. I'm baffled. But, ladies and gents, I'll just end it on this point. Bring it back to the home overlay. I'll end it on this point, and that's at the fact that that's where I draw the line in the sand. When I'm observing patterns like that, where you've got the likes of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, what else? Shaquille O'Neal, guys that I like to buy. All three of these guys, they're guys that I'm sort of comparing it to. You could go off and maybe choose some more. Maybe if you want to look at Dirk Nowitzki cards, could possibly be another one. I say Tim Duncan, but he's probably, I say he's a bit of an outlier, but,
Just quickly, the
Yeah.
great man in the comments, the great man, one of the legends of the hobby down here in Australia, we're not going to give you his name, but it's there, just MP2 Marty, has just come out and said, and I completely agree with this. This is a good point. Like, people like collecting players they can watch today, and it's more fun following active careers. And not for anything, that I completely agree with you, but that also reinforces the fact on why the hell is LeBron's card so cheap then? Like, he's still active. He's balling out every single... He's still the best player in the world. Honestly, we'll call this now, yeah? Honestly, we should call this right now. You wait until Giannis dominates this year, and you wait till KD dominates this year. You just watch Kevin Durant cards this season. If he kills it, if he's injury-free, he comes back to what he was, just watch the prices. They're going to be astronomical, his rookie cards. They're going to fly up. And then we're going to sit here in 2 months' time going, how the hell are these cards worth this, and LeBron's rookie card is only worth this much? As simple as that. That's all I got to say on it.
Anyway, that's where I draw the line in the sand. That's what I was pointing at, Domma. When that happens, that's where I draw the line in the sand. I get that sentiment, and I hear that argument all the time, and I come back with my argument, which is that's fine. But when I'm left holding all Kobe cards, and you're left holding Trae Young at the end of his career, or
that's where,
a whole bunch of PJ Washington, the price guys are paying for PJ Washington, even even Sekou Doumbouya.
That's the issue.
We'll see who's the winner out of this.
Yeah, but that's the issue. When it's all said and done, what do? You hold your cards and go, well, Trae done nothing, and now these cards are worthless. And then Kobe, who's worth nothing, all the cards are worth a mint, and you're like, oh shit. Instead of me focusing on these little niche guys, well, Trae's not a niche guy, but Sekou Doumbouya is a good one.
Don't get me wrong, there are guys that you collect just to collect, right? Yeah, and I get that. And KZ Opala is like one of those guys for me. Even Dante DiVincenzo is probably going to end up want to be one of those guys to me.
Yeah,
I'm just collecting him, and you can get nice cards because they're reasonable, and not everyone can afford to go drop freaking 20k on an RPA. But yet I can go get an immaculate Dante DiVincenzo RPA for like, I bought one for like $100 or something, right? Yeah. Number, I think it was numbered to, it's a pretty low number. I think it was 49. So it was pretty good. Like,
but we're just saying it's just that discrepancy between legends and the active guys. It's just like, be very careful, because it always comes back to like, I understand it's now, we like it now, but all it takes is just that one injury, and then like that's where we feel for people in the hobby. It's just that one injury, and then your cards are done. That's it. Like, that's it. God forbid it happens to like one of these rookies or second or third year players. I'm not going to mention names because you know who they all are. And you put all your eggs in that one basket, and you're going, oh shit. Like we said, you've got them all for grading. They're not coming back yet because there's a delay. And in between that, you sending them and getting them back, something happens to that player, like Klay Thompson. That's a good example. Like, people would have bought him because it's like, oh yeah, he went down. He's gonna ball out. So they bought all his cards and sent them for grading, and then he got injured, and now the cards, it's like, oh shit, we just lost money on the guy. That's what we're trying to say. That's actually the perfect example right there, because we know a lot of people that went in big on Klay because obviously he hadn't played, which makes sense. But anyway, It's just buyers beware. Obviously, enjoy collecting. It's obviously the thing we're just saying, the price discrepancy. Just diversify who you collect. If you love a certain legend, buy into it, especially if it's Kobe. Like, it's a no-brainer. And like that LeBron rookie card, still active, you're still killing it. Get it while it's at a really good price. You can add it to your PC if you love LeBron. So, anyway, it's only just ranting, isn't it?
Oh, we're gonna go. We could go on and on
Oh,
about this.
we could talk for hours, but we're not. So, because we're done.
We're done. Yes.
We're done. Oh, anyway, thank you once again, ladies and
Thank
gents.
you, ladies and gents.
Putting up with Saucy and I. We love it.
A few rants, one at Arsenal. We had a rant on
Arsenal.
cards.
Rant on cards. But yeah, once again, just to sign off, just from both of us, once again, we did thank those people for jumping on our podcast. But thank you very much to everyone for your support here in Australia and abroad. Good following over in the US at the moment. Appreciate the love. Keep listening and give us feedback. We're always willing to learn and get better. And obviously, leave us a nice review on our Apple podcast. Much appreciated. But once again, keep living, loving, and breathing sport. It's double coverage. It's been Dom with your boy Saucy, and peace.
Peace out, ladies and gents.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports, double curve.